Hello, guys, and welcome back. Today is Thursday, and now that we have planned and brainstormed for our writing, it is time to draft our letters or write our letters. The essential question for this lesson is: how do I compose correspondence that requests information? The I can statement is: I can discuss and identify the parts of a letter, and the I will statement is: I will complete my letter draft and include the parts of a letter. So before we begin, I want to show you guys a quick video that talks about writing a letter.
Today, we're going to learn how to write a letter. Letter writing is a fun way to communicate with others. When we begin writing a letter, the first thing we have to decide is who we are writing to. This is known as the audience. Your audience may be formal if it is someone important you are writing to or someone you don't know very well. Informal letters are written to people you know well, like your grandma, cousin, or friend. There are 5 parts that must be included in every letter: the date, salutation or greeting, body, closing, and signature. The date goes at the top of your letter. It lets the person you are writing to know when you wrote the letter. Next, you must add the salutation or greeting. An informal or friendly letter will usually begin with dear, the person's name, and always ends with a comma. After the salutation comes the body of the letter. The body is very important because it is where you communicate your thoughts, ideas, and questions. The body of the letter always needs to be written in chronological order or in a sequence. The closing and signature come after the body. The closing shows the letter has ended. Depending on who you're writing to, you may say your friend, love, or sincerely, On the next line, after the comma, you write or sign your name or signature. Letter writing is a fun way to communicate with people all over the world. Remember, when you are writing a letter, you need to include 5 parts: the date, salutation or greeting, body, closing, and signature. Have fun writing!
That was a great video that briefly explains all of the parts of a letter. So now it is time for us to write our letter. Before we begin drafting, I want you guys to think about a couple of things today. First, I want you to think about the purpose, the message, the audience, and the language you will use in your letter before writing. Then I want you to use your brainstorming notes before drafting the body of your letter, and remember to write in logical order. Now, your letter must include the following: a date, a heading, and we'll talk about a heading in just a second, a greeting, a body that has a purpose, specific requests being asked, questions, a summary, a closing, and a signature. So let's look over my planning sheet because I'm writing to a different person from you guys. You guys are writing to your cousin Sally, and I'm writing to Millie. So looking over my planning sheet, I see my audience, my purpose, the language I selected, and I've reviewed my questions. Now I want to share with you guys my letter that I wrote. Now, what I did was I labeled all of the parts of a letter so that you guys know what parts you need to include in your writing. So you always want to start with the date, which is November 5th, 2020. Now, the heading was not mentioned in the video, but the heading is very important, and the heading is going to be your address and the person's address that you are sending the letter to. You want to start with your address first. So I added Miss Shavia Lewis, 2404 Hickory Lane, College Station, Texas, 77840. And I want you guys to make up an address here. Do not include your actual address. Make up an address or create a fake address for this part. And then you want to add the second heading, which is the person you are sending the letter to. So this person I'm sending the letter to is Millie Henderson, and you guys are going to have to create a last name for Sally. And then I added her fake address as 4403 Peach City Street. And she lives in Cypress, Texas, 77564. I've created a fake zip code as well. And if you guys would like, you can use my address that I created and change the name. That's absolutely fine. Now, the greeting. The greeting is where I say, Dear Millie, with a comma. You want to include that comma. And on a new line, I want to start the body. How are you? I really miss seeing you all and spending time with you and your family. It feels like such a long time since I last saw you. I was so excited when I heard about your new hedgehog, Bartholomew. I know you are so happy to have a new pet. I'm writing this letter because I really wanted to know more about your new pet, Bartholomew. First, where did you get Bartholomew? When did you get him? Also, how do you take care of him? Lastly, I would like to know what food you have to feed Bartholomew. I am really looking forward to hearing back from you and learning more about Bartholomew. Hope to hear from you soon. Your cousin, which is my closing, Miss Lewis, which is the signature. Your letter needs to include a date, a heading, a greeting, a body, a closing, and lastly, a signature. Now, in Schoology, this is going to look a little different, so I wanted to show you guys what it would look like for you whenever you post it, because you're going to post it below part one. So you're going to post it below part one. So here's part one from Wednesday. And here's part two, which is my letter that has the date, the heading, a greeting, a body, a closing, and my signature. So this is what your assignment should look like. You should have part one, which was the letter planning information, and part two, which is actually writing out your letter. I typed the information in just like this, and it created a letter format for me. And now I'm done. You guys are going to do the exact same thing when you write your letter to your cousin Sally. My example will be there for you guys to see. I hope you use it because it is very helpful when you're writing your letter. And I hope you guys have enjoyed learning about writing letters to request information, and have fun writing, guys. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.